Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we'll be discussing the 1959 classic, whether you define it as a classic or not, The Diary of Anne Frank. Of course, the only actors you really recognize, as I do, is Shelley Winters and Richard Beymer. Because Richard Beymer, for those who don't know, who don't watch musicals, played Tony 2 years later, who played Tony in the movie version of West Side Story. So, those are the only two actors I know that's recognizable in this film. Of course, who doesn't know the story of Anne Frank? I mean, you have to be like brain dead or never read the book and not to know the Diary of Anne Frank. I know my sister did when she was in school. I never did, because usually young girls usually read that book, because usually stereotypical education here when they give this book to young girls to read, for English class. Of course, the story of Anne Frank is a true story. How fictionalized it is, from various movie versions or various plays. Various trying to jazz it up for a fictional version to make the story a little bit better, but not much. Of course, Anne Frank was a 13-year-old girl who, for 2 years, from 1942 to 1944, was hanging out with her family with other people from the Nazis in Amsterdam, I think it was. And for 2 years, there was this cramped space, two families, and then eventually a third guy comes. So you have all these people crammed into a small, narrow, tiny space above a business or a print shop or something like that, above this print shop. And it was really cramped, really tiny. And the movie is about 2 hours, or at least the 1959 version is about 2 hours and 15 minutes long. So it's quite long. To see how, for 2 years, how they struggled to live in this place where they had to stretch out the food, only get food maybe from the family who was hiring them, maybe once or twice a week, and they had to keep quiet all day long because there's a business downstairs, and it's an old rickety building, so if anybody walks around wearing shoes, people downstairs will hear it, or they have to make sure they don't really walk around that much even during the day, even wearing just their socks or stockings, for the women, because otherwise people are going to hear it. And to make sure they don't use the bathroom all day long either, because otherwise the plumbing will go through the pipes and people will hear water running through the pipes. So that's how old this building is. So you have to stay perfectly still, perfectly quiet all day long, and at night they go nuts. But I mean, because when that building is empty, that's when they make up for not talking all day long, and that's where all the big conversations come from. When it was at night or on weekends when they know the business is closed, that's what they do all day, and so it covers the 2 years. Well, they were there until when they finally got caught by the Nazis, and the Nazis found out where they were. Because at one point, it's almost 2 full years, a thief comes in, steals a typewriter, and kind of figures out that maybe there were people in there. So he snitched. And I think there may be Jews hiding in this building. So the Nazis come in and they capture everybody. Of course, what you don't see in this movie is what happened to the family. What happens is, of course, the family does get captured, and Anne Frank and most of the family gets killed, except for maybe Anne Frank's father, plus another girl, plus one of the other guys didn't get killed. In the concentration, they all got captured. They went to the concentration camps, and they found out Anne Frank's father went back to the house where he was staying at for 2 years, finds Anne Frank's diary, and told the people who helped him out what happened to them in the camps. So, oh, we just found out. Oh, we just said that you were captured. What happened after you got captured? And it says, well, Anne Frank was, well, Anne and mother went to one camp. Anne went to Auschwitz. And the father of Mary went to Auschwitz, and which is like the worst, the most famous of all the concentration camps, Auschwitz. And they liberated us. I had to get out. I was able to be, and I was able to be released from the country before they got around to kill me. I was able to get out, and I was liberated. But Anne Frank and most of my family was not so lucky. Everybody was killed. And I think in the original book, when the original play, only an actual story, 2 people lived. Anne Frank's father, and there was somebody else who lived. Everybody else who stayed there was killed in the camps, including Anne Frank. And the irony was that Anne Frank's last diary entry was on the day when the Nazis captured her and her family. It says, "Oh, I still believe the people are good at heart." That was literally her last entry. It was kind of ironic considering the fact that the Nazis were not good at heart, and who killed her, killed most of her family in the concentration camps. But as a film, like I said earlier, I thought the film went just a tad too long. It was like maybe a half hour shorter, maybe, or maybe 20 to 30 minutes shorter. It would have been better. In my opinion, I thought it was like, I don't want to say padded out. I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but I'm saying that was just maybe 10 to 15 minutes. There was some stuff in there that I felt that, was like unnecessary scenes. The problem I have with stories like this is that how much of this stuff was actually written in Anne Frank's book. Because, like I said earlier, I never read the book, but or Anne Frank's diary, I should say. But how much of it was actually in the book? That's the question. And how accurate was Anne Frank's memory when she wrote all this stuff in there? And like I said, they're always trying to fictionize books in some capacity. And I'm not saying that all this stuff is all made up. I'm not saying that because it is a true story. But how much of it actually... There's always a problem with every time there's a movie that's based on a true story, or a play based on a true incident, whatever, of how accurate it is. I've always had a problem with that. Or how accurate it is with the book. And even if it's a fictional story, how accurate a movie is to the book. I always have a problem with that. But in terms of the acting is superb in this movie. I mean, you can't really complain. Even though, like you mentioned earlier, that Richard Bramer for West Side Story was in this movie. He played, I think, Peter was his character, the guy with the cat. He doesn't have that much dialogue in this movie compared to West Side Story. That's because West Side Story was like the main character, but Long Natalie Wood. But in this movie, he doesn't have that many lines in the movie. And he said, "Hey, that's the guy. That's Tony from West Side Story." And he said he's the only actor that I actually recognize in this film. But the film itself, I think, is pretty good, pretty dramatic. I think it might be the best version of this movie. In other words, a TV movie or a TV version of Diary of Anne Frank. A few years ago, I forgot what channel it was on, but I do remember seeing there was I think it was like a live action or a live version of Diary of Anne Frank that was on television. I forgot what channel it was on, but I think the 1959 version, I think, is maybe the best version of the Diary of Anne Frank. So that's my review of the Diary of Anne Frank. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. That's all WDY. That's C.com. Homepage of Rowdy Reviewer Chris E. Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.